time when I was alone, nowhere to go and no place to call home.
Hi there, Indigo Red Soldier coming to you live. I want to talk today about the 4 and 5D dimensions, 4D and 5D. So right now, we're consciously inhabiting a 3D matrix and subconsciously navigating the 4D. 3D, you can think of that as your standard mathematical 3D graph. You have your length, your width, and your length, your width, and your height. I'm thinking about it like if I'm looking at a book, but yeah, it's length, width, and height. Left, side, forward, and up, however you want to look at it. And then you have time, which is your 4D. That is the transition of space from one thing to the other. So even though you have length, width, and height, you can have length, width, and height, or like a tesseract, like a thing that's always changing. You have a square that's always changing into other squares somehow. I don't know how to explain a tesseract really well yet, but I do know what it is, and if you don't know what it is, I encourage you to look into it because it's a cool concept. And if you are familiar with movies like The Avengers, you've already heard it. They had the Tesseract, and I believe it was Captain America, the blue box. And there's Tesseract is becoming something very common for a lot of people to know, so you'll come across it someday. But that's 4D. Fourth dimension is the fabric of time. And the fabric of time is just like the fabric of space. It's continuous and it's stable, and there's many parts of it. You have your fabric of space, and you have several dimensions fabrics of space where everything is possible. Imagine this: you're in a museum and there's only one piece in the center, one masterpiece, and it's a base, a boss, or however you want to say it. Let's say Mediterranean from Greece or something. And you're standing there in this room. You have length, width, and height, 3D. And you have your base in the center. It's not moving. That's what 3D without your 4D looks like. Now, let's assume you have 4D added into the equation. You could actually see how that base was made, from how the chunk of clay was taken out of the ground perhaps, or maybe you can see the chunk of clay all of a sudden manifest in that space, and then you all of a sudden see that chunk of clay manifest into a shape that's becoming a bowl, and then eventually you see the shape of the bowl, and then you start seeing the drawings, the decorations go on it. That is what 4D looks like if you had access to the 4D itself. But since we don't have access to the 4D just yet, we're still learning to navigate through it. We're experiencing it. We're like a thread in the fabric of time. Our bodies is like a thread in the fabric of time. Always a part of it, and everything that we have done, are doing, and will do is already a part of it. In that sense, free will is completely lost. Like, it doesn't matter whether you go to work tomorrow or not. You've already decided, you've already done it. The only thing that's left up to you is live it and experience it. And this is where becoming enlightened really takes a big part, a big discipline. Because if you were still asleep, you would probably just get up and go to work and not want to do it at all. You would do it simply because it's just programmed into you that you have to do it. You wouldn't be happy, you would be miserable at work and just not enjoying it. I know I can say this because I experienced it. I got up and went to a job that I didn't care about, and I was miserable all the time that I was there. So, it didn't matter whether I wanted to go to work or not. The choice that I made at that point in time was already made, and I just had to live through it. So I lived through it in a bad ways, and I carried on negative energy into myself and felt terrible about myself. That's not what enlightenment is about. It's about accepting the reality and still enjoying it and making it do what you want. Finding an excuse to do what you're doing, not just doing it because it's somehow the way it's supposed to be. Alright, so let's get into other ways of describing the fourth dimension, right? Because I really like that clay pot, that boss example. Let's look at another one. I'm a photographer, so I've seen this one and I've thought about it. And just to show you, I'm going to take a picture of myself with long exposure to show you. Okay, so you see how in that picture, that's a very bad picture, but you see how in that picture you can see stretches of light and just how I'm just absorbing into it. That was a picture takes light beams and it, okay, photographer mind work. When you take a picture, all you're doing is basically letting the lens take in the light as it's going in. It records it onto the image, onto the faceplate, the picture. In this case, it's a camera sensor, but suppose it's just a piece of paper. You're having lights hit it, and as the light is hitting it, it's painting something. Well, all that light is coming from me. It's reflecting off of me from the sun, and it's hitting the lens, and it's showing just how I move from one space to the other slowly. So if you see a lot of pictures like that, just know the person was moving. But that's what time looks like if you were to hold it still in one point. We're constantly moving through it and we see it in with our eyes, so that's not what we see. That's why cameras are so nice in a way. It's showing us that sense. And by recording ourselves and putting it online and doing all of this, we're recording time for people to know in the future exactly what we're doing right now, exactly what things are like right now, and that's a very awesome concept too. So yay for technology. Anyways, I'm not sure how long this video is right now. It's getting about to a good point though, so I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up. And in the meantime, you know, I still have a lot of things to talk about, and I'm still going. I just have to add in, I kind of forgot to upload a couple of videos, so I'm uploading them too. And just rate, comment, and subscribe. I hope you're enjoying my daily blog sessions, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, this is Indigo Red Soldier telling you to love everybody you can, do what you want to, do what you can, and have a nice day. Namaste.
There was a time when I was alone, nowhere to go and no place to call home.